Ano kayo? 5, 6.
Hello po, good afternoon po everyone. We're from the group. Ito po yung mga nakulit namin na answers. Yes. Actually, nag-documentary ko. So, I think yung overarching theme ng mga nakulit namin na answers is the appreciation or recognition siguro na some of these problems are things that we may be doing ourselves, or we ourselves may be part of that problem, but at the same time we can also be part of the solution. And it's not hypocritical to actually call that out or look introspectively to ourselves, but actually given yung beauty ng ganito to see where we lack, and at the same time to so parang ganun no, na baka minsan parte din tayo ng sistema, or at the same time biktima din tayo ng sistema. So parang ganun. Alright, so the first question on is what are the environmental issues and challenges? So i-ramble na lang siguro natin, and then B. And so yung number 1 po is yung centralized environmental governance. Specifically in Mindanao, no, or the context of Mindanao, no, where we are at the periphery of our country. So we need to say nasa bottom po tayo of the map. So what that means is medyo we don't want to pit the regions against each other. No? The reality is medyo Manila-centric po talaga yung ating policies and even our disaster response. So medyo hindi na localize yung context natin. And even if, for example, pag may mga disasters dito, hindi masyadong nandito village. As much as if we talk about like mga disasters na nangyayari in Central Luzon, for example, or Metro Manila. So yun po no. So policies actually needs local context, and the data and the response of the local or the national government is actually still Manila-driven pa rin, or very centralized government. Ayan. And even the financial distribution during calamity. And then the second one is the large-scale land conversion to plantation. So nangyayari po yan, if you go southward to Colombo, for example, you will see banana plantations na 50 years ago, hindi naman banana plantations sa Colombo. It's such a rich biodiversity na land or rainforest, ganyan. And if you go to Tago or Davao, makikita natin yung mga banana plantations. And yung nangyayari is, of course, the biodiversity are lost there in the area. And even yung even yung mga baka sa bahay din natin, for example, if you're living in Camellia homes, for example, or even in informal settlers, 30 years ago baka hindi naman siya bahay. So pino-convert ko yung land natin into because of urbanization. And siguro tayo, that's part of our needs to live in or to use that land. Pero at the same time, we may be affecting the environment in the process. And then the third is the connection to that is the IP displacement. No? Ito po yung parang naka-connected sa Mindanao, yung sa long-standing na Mindanao struggles. Yung IP displacement na perpetrate lalo nitong environmental challenges. Now, for example, if we look at the history, Mindanao is actually an IP and mono community. And I personally, for example, I'm a Cebuano in Longson, ganyan. Originally, we should not be here, right? So, so yung nangyayari is parang sila na nga yung nasa poverty line. At the same time, sila pa yung pinaka-na-affect nun. And medyo may environmental injustice din na nangyayari, no? Kasi in the first place, they own this land. Tapos sila pa yung pinaka-mahihirap. Ayan. And ayun, nawawala kalimang ancestral lands. And another na rin is yung mga mining din. Nadi-displace sila. there's also an erosion in their culture, ganyan, and the biodiversity again in the area. And kung makikita natin yung context din ng minings, most of the tribal leaders, unfortunately, would align with the big mining companies because ayun, may mga promises for education, for livelihood. So, siguro yun nga, yung part na mention ni Ate Lexi kanina na for empowerment talaga for our IT communities. Because if we actually look at the system, yes, sometimes they may get those benefits, pero kung nakikita natin, sila po yung nasa pinaka-bottom talaga na hindi po sila yung pinaka nag-i-enrich in the mining industry. Sila lang yung pinaka-punggang patak-patak na lang po yung nakakating sa kanila. And then, what else here? So number 4 is, and yung na-mention yung mga promoter ng club, SSC, and even yung sa Kidlikasan, and other volunteer orgs sa aming grupo na yung volunteer participation and resources. Because we have to face the reality na parang syempre as a developing country, our main priority talaga is what to put in our table. Itong mga advocacy ito, magaganda naman talaga. But at the same time, the first priority po talaga ng mga tao, and perhaps we may not take it against them, na bakit hindi sila nagpa-participate because yun, ang inuunan talaga nilang hanap buhay. So the important question to actually ask is, what is in it for them? Or what is in it for us? Kasi, di ba? Kasi, kung ikaw tayo mga kabataan, siguro maraming apathetic sa atin. Because what is in it for us? Kumbaga yun ang, and I think it's also a challenge for us as volunteers and advocates to make our campaigns or our projects more creative para mas na-engage natin yung mga youth, mga volunteers. Kasi, I believe, or I'd like to believe na ating mga kabataan is, hindi naman sa kanila wala yung idealism. It's just that, yun nga lang, what is in it for them? Or kumbaga, ano yung makukuha nila doon? And if we actually make it yung ating engagement na parte sila talaga ng process, and they actually appreciate the beauty in it as much as we do as advocates. So maybe, they can also participate. And then yung sustainability din ng mga projects. May mga projects na ginagawa yung mga organizations sa aming grupo, but the ano talaga is sustainability. For example, yung tree planting, nag-plant sila in this day, and then binalikan ba nila after a year kung nabuhay yung mga plants na yun. And also now yung tree planting din, baka also we may try to check sa mga fisheries and also mga agriculture students natin na yun nga yung parang nag-introduce tayo ng kung hindi medyo scientific based yung ating mga ginagawang tree planting yun, baka nag-introduce tayo ng mga invasive species or hindi native or endemic na plants dun sa area, and it actually causes more harm than good. So, ayun. And even ito naman sa last is yung empowerment na. Yan yung parang call to action namin number 3 or number 2 and 3 na yung indigenous knowledge talaga from the people from the community, and tayo as volunteers, we have to use our idealism as youth, our actions as spirit now. And also of course social media as youth, a generation or 2 generations ago, if you want to voice out to the government and if you want to have your voice be heard in the community, ang yung ginagawa is to put placards or to make placards and to go out in the streets and shout on top of your lungs na ito yung ipinaglalaban natin. But right now, with social media, we're actually empowering all of us has now the power and the voice. Isang tweet mo lang, isang post mo lang, you can already influence what are really the influence you have with, whether your friends, your family, or kung malaki ang family mo, all the better, no? So yun, let's capitalize on that, our social media. Maybe it's not as big, siguro kung malilit na yung following natin, but if we actually accumulate all these little voices, it can, make a tsunami effect in the long run na titibag sa mga sistema na tinatry natin i-push back or push against. And so yun yung solution or